Hello one and all, and welcome to another UploadVR graphics comparison. Today we are looking at Wraith, the Oblivion Afterlife from Fast Travel Games, which released on the Oculus Quest and Oculus Rift last week. In Wraith, you become one of the titular monsters, a supernatural being that has like unfinished business left in the real world, and as we open up, we see the death of our character, Ed. Now, the really interesting thing about this comparison is going to be the pretty striking consistency between Quest 2 and PC VR. But actually here at the start, you can see that actually the first cutscene, as it were, actually plays out with a flaw in the PC version and plays out in total darkness in Quest 2. But that's just one strange thing off the bat. So now we're moving into the tutorial area in the game, and yeah, it's pretty stunning how close the Quest 2 version is to the PC VR. Same for character models, these kind of ghostly apparitions that you'll see, can't really tell much of a difference between them, between the two versions. Take a look at the floor. There's definitely high resolution textures on PC, but Quest is staying incredibly close to it with, pretty much the exact same detail. Now granted, the game isn't the most graphically demanding,
What are you doing?
but we still haven't seen that many Quest ports that are this close to the higher end version. One of the things we will be talking about a bit more later on is the shadow, this kind of more demonic other half of you that is a bit more sinister. We get an early look at him here, but we'll be back to see him in a seance room in a little bit, where some of the more striking differences are apparent. But for now, let's take a look at our hands, and again, it's pretty amazing how close these are on Quest 2, especially given the hands are just really detailed. Kind of uncomfortably so, because there's so much blood involved and weird blue veins. Moving into the Barclay Mansion, you can kind of see this kind of softer effect on the lighting on the PC version. It's much more striking, much more direct on Quest 2.
Are you also here to bask in the...
But the lighting in general on Quest 2 again holds up pretty well. You get the same kind of moody atmosphere from the darker corridors like we're seeing here. It's a little, maybe a bit more saturated on the Quest, but it's, again, not a big deal. It really is a fantastic job that Fast Travel Games has done with the standalone version of the game. Even down to the more ghoulish details on this poor guy we're about to see here. Yeah, who knew Quest could be so horribly convincing? So now we're moving up into the seance room that I talked about a little earlier. We're going to go meet our shadow once again, and this is actually one of the more different scenes between the two versions. So, as you can see, there's kind of light bleeding in from a grimy window over on the right. And it's having a very different effect on the shadow himself in this scene. We actually kind of get to see more of his kind of, I don't want to call them eye sockets because they're not really sockets, but eye divots. I'll say divots. Whereas on Quest 2, they're kind of completely engulfed in shadow all the time. And it's actually interesting because you could argue that that effect makes him a little spookier on Quest 2. But at the same time, he's definitely more detailed, more richly detailed in the PC version of the game. This is another low light environment. I think this is quite interesting to see what effect the flashlight is having. You can definitely tell that, there's more reflective surfaces going on in the PC VR version. But then as we pick up the flashlight, it's actually pretty impressive just how close using it on Quest is compared to on PC. Again, you're getting light bouncing off of different surfaces, as you can see in the top corners there. Also interesting to see the different colors on these roots. as you get rid of them. Then we move out into one of the game's few vistas in the garden area. Again, pretty striking parity between the two versions. I like looking at this kind of water feature out here. You definitely get like a more realistic lighting effect on PC, but you see more of the reflections, I think, on Quest 2, which is interesting. As you walk around this area, you're going to notice that Quest 2 is actually kind of keeping up with, you know, the resolution of the assets. And then let's close out with a look at, you know, the specters, which are very, very horrible. So yeah, that's a quick look at the graphics between the Quest 2 and PC VR versions of Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife. If you liked the video, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, hit the notifications button, and stay tuned to Upload for all your VR graphics comparison needs.